What's up guys, it's Legend X Jonah, and today I got another possible variations video. In this video I'll be covering the possible variations Baraka could have if he's in the Kombat Pack 2. Now, if you've been watching my previous videos, you'll know that I believe Baraka has a pretty high chance of being in the Kombat Pack 2, and that he's possibly that first silhouette in the teaser pick. Now, I already know, spoiler alert if you don't know, that Baraka got killed off in the MKX story, but he's a classic and he was an NPC character in the game. And not to mention, have y'all noticed how Rain and Sindel were invasion bosses, but not Baraka? There was like this chain going on for a period of time where we were having NPCs as invasion bosses, but it kind of got broken when Baraka wasn't the next invasion boss after Sindel and Rain. So I do believe that this does mean something. Maybe they're like working on Baraka, trying to get his moves together to release him in the next Kombat Pack, but we won't know until the Kombat Pack 2 comes out. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and get started with this variation video. Now, this was really hard to do. Baraka didn't have too much for me to go off of, so I had to get pretty creative. So bear with me in this video and let's go ahead and start. Okay, so the variations I came up with for Baraka, we have first the Tarkatan Variation, where he gains combos utilizing his blades. Then we have the Pher variation, where he uses grapples and counter moves. And then we have the Spark variation, where he gains more uses for his flying shard move. This will basically help Baraka with zoning, you know, basically if he's going against any other characters that use zoning, so he'll be able to basically zone back if he need to. So these are the standard moves I got: flying shard, chop chop blades, blade swipe, blade spin, blade charge, scrape kick. These are a lot of classic moves he had in previous games, so basically got all these moves together and gave it to him as his standard moveset. Now, this last move we have here, Blade Deflect, that's a move I created myself. Basically, he can reflect projectiles, so I feel like this will help give Baraka an edge whenever he's going against zoning enemies. Now, let's go ahead and get started with this first variation, Tarkatan Variation. Now, like I said, in the Tarkatan Variation, he gains combos utilizing his Tarkatan blades. So for an appearance for this variation, I kind of imagine him having his blades extended out, kind of like in this picture in the background. Alright, now the moves I have for this variation, he gains additional combos utilizing blades, like I said, and he gains extended blade special moves, like for instance Blade Charge. He impels the enemy, then at the end of Blade Charge he throws them. And then I have Blade Swipe. He can extend it further into a move I created called Blade Impel. Basically, he'll do Blade Swipe, then you can connect it with another Blade Swipe, and then you can connect it, finishing it with Blade Impel, where he impels the opponent. Now, this last move is another move I created. It's called Razor Sharp. Basically, he's sharpening his blades, increasing his damage output. This is kind of just like Katana's move, where she sharpens her fans in her assassin variation, and basically leads her to do more damage, and also it leads to a brutality in that variation. Alright, so on to the next variation, we have Pher variation. Now, in this variation, he gains grapples and counter moves. I couldn't really think of too much for an appearance, so what I came up with is maybe he had markings on his body, kind of like how Melina has markings in her ethereal variation, and then maybe his armor could be like a darker shade, maybe like black or something. Alright, now the moveset for this variation, I had to get very creative. I created every last single one of these moves, so please bear with me as I try to explain each and every one of these moves. So the first move we have is Tarkatan Takedown. Now, in this move, he grapples the opponent to the floor and stabs them. And then the EX version's move, Tarkatan Execution, he stabs the enemy multiple times. Now, the picture of this move, kind of imagine Aaron Black's sand trap move that he does, where he tackles him to the ground, shoots him multiple times. It's just like that, but instead he's stabbing him multiple times with his blades. Now, the next move we have is Savage Impaler. He grabs the opponent and stabs them 3 times. With the final hit, he impels them and then punches them off of his blade. And then for EX version of this move, I have Savage Slam, where basically it's the same thing, but during the last hit, instead of punching them off the blade, he slams them down, basically causing them to pop up, so you can have mix-ups and adders in the combos. The next move is Tarkatan Parry. Basically, he counters physical attacks, stops the opponent by slashing them and then kicking them, sending them back. This is kind of like Kano's parries he have in his Commando variation. So basically the same thing. If someone tries to hit him, he can parry, and he does this move. Alright, the last move we have for this variation is Pher Rage. Now, in this move, basically what it does is it reduces the damage for a period of time, basically giving him a buff so he can continue to do much damage output in this variation and continue doing more moves. So, on to our very last variation, his Spark variation. Now, in this variation, he gains more uses for Flying Shard, his Flying Shard move, and for an appearance for this, I said basically glowing. His blades are glowing red. I'm thinking more like a red tint to it, because you know whenever metal is heated a lot, it turns red. So you know he's sharpening his blades and to make the spark, so they're red now. Alright, the moves I got for this variation, first move is Heated Blades, kind of like why his blades are red. You sharpen the blades and increases his damage output for his shard moves. The next thing is his Flying Shard, basically his classic move that deals more damage in this variation, and then for an EX version of this move, it shoots out 2 shards. Now, the next 2 moves we have are Low Shard, where he runs his blade across the ground, sending a shard out across the ground. In the EX version of this move, the shard is bigger and is quicker and it does more damage. Kind of like the same thing with the High Shard. Instead, he shoots the shard upwards, and then the EX of the version of this move sends the shard upwards and is bigger and it deals more damage. So for this final move, we have Air Flying Shard. This is kind of based off of the move he has in Shaolin Monks, where he has the triple flying shard. Basically, when Baraka jumps in the air, he can shoot out a shard, and his EX version is basically that same move in Shaolin Monks. He sends out 3 shards. Alright, so these are the variations I came up with for Baraka. Like I said, it was kind of hard to think of some variations because Baraka doesn't really have too much to go off of because most of his moves are kind of like similar, so I did have to get very creative. So please let me know what you think in the comments below about the variations I came up with. Do you think that maybe I could have added some more things, or what variations do you think that Baraka could possibly have? Be sure to like this video if you liked it, and be sure to check out my previous videos. I did do a Fujin variation video, so I'll like it if everybody would go check that out. Make sure you follow me on Twitter for more updates on things I'm doing for my channel. And as always, please make sure you subscribe. This is Legend X Jonah, and I'll see you guys later. This tweet that we got from Boon this morning, it reads, haha, also gotta love the baby alien on the leash. Hashtag alien confirmed, winky face. Now, I woke up kind of late this morning and I ended up seeing this tweet.